So while in Kilkivan, we thought we would track the Kilkivan to Kingaroy rail trail, or that end of it anyway. And we'd sort of set out with the idea that we would ride to Wandai, but we would just keep an eye on the battery because we hadn't used the Doroti for a really long ride yet. And we thought we'd get 20, say 25 Ks and then turn around and come back, and we'd just keep a bit of an eye on the battery level. Wandai is 28.8 Ks one way. So we sort of were pushing it at its max with the two of us on the bike, and we just thought we'd set out and see how far we got. And as you can see there, the rail trail starts at the back of the RV camp and then heads out from there. So nice, good spot to launch from. But wasn't long before we come across our first wet foot slippery rock crossing.
On a bike, we're going to end up in.
You have to ride next to it. You're going to end up in. And then two up, the Doroti really hated these steep, gravelly climbs out of the creek crossing, we soon discovered. And usually we have it in power mode because we're just zipping around, but we had it in eco mode because we wanted to see how far we could get out of the battery. And I can tell you, in eco mode, it just doesn't have that pull up the hills. Most of the ride was out through the lovely farmland across the Burnett there. Quite a beautiful ride, not as much wildlife as we expected, with finches and birds, a couple of snakes, but yeah, not as much wildlife as we thought.
To go back out that way? I don't think we're going in there.
And then we missed the turn and ended up at this closed railway bridge. The turn-off is just like 50 metres beforehand, and you go down through a gate and through a creek crossing, which you had to get off and push through. I got wet to the ankles on that one, and then you can see here the track on the other side is really washed, and we just had to walk the bike up there. It was, yeah, there was no way we were riding up that one.
There's one way to get me off. That didn't quite go as planned, did it?
So as I said at the start, we were keeping an eye on the battery, and we got to the village of Kimbombi, which I'm probably saying wrong, and the battery was just on sort of 50%. So we made that our turnaround point and started to head back to Kilkivan. We did pass a couple of nice railway bridges, this being the most substantial railway bridge that we saw along the way. And as you can see from the screen here, it says past zero, so the bike isn't assisting us, and Tom was really trying to baby it home as the battery had started to drop really, really quickly after that 50%.
I was videoing you, I was waiting for you to drop it then.
What did you say?
I was videoing you going down there, waiting for you to drop it.
Not what?
What are you doing, phony?
By this point, the battery was really dropping fast. We were down to just one bar, and we were trying to figure out why we hadn't got such good mileage out of it when we'd got quite a lot of Ks two up before without any dropping even a bar. But we realised we'd probably done 25 or 30 Ks since we last charged it. So little heads up that make sure your battery's charged before you head out on the rail trail. And then with about 3 kilometres to go, the inevitable happened and we had to walk. So Tom got to push the bike home and I got to walk home on Shanks's pony. Yep, charge your batteries before you head out. There's the word to the wise. That's the lesson for the day.